Hello, chapter 15 is about the compound words. Here you will learn how to put words together in the German language. Hallo und willkommen zu Abschnitt 15. Hier geht es die Komposita. So it's about the compound words, as I've said before. And compound words are words that we put together and they consist of at least two different words. We like to do this very often in German, that we just put two or more words together and then create a new word with those words. Okay, so as you see here, it's a new word creation of at least two words. In German, neue Wortkreation aus mindestens zwei Wörtern. The next one, here linking letters. In order to put together two words, we often use linking letters, or they are called Fugenzeichen in German. And there are about 30% of the compound words that have a linking letter. And those linking letters can be either E, S, E, S, N, E, N, or E, R. Okay, and there, as you see, there is no fixed rule which linking letter and when a linking letter has to be applied. So this is something you would have to learn more or less by heart, although there is some help and some hints on when you're going to use those linking letters, but we are going to look at that in one of the next slides. So here we'll just read it to you. Keine feste Regel, welches Fugenzeichen und wann ein Fugenzeichen eingesetzt werden muss. Here's an example of a very long word that happens here and there in the German language. And so in this chapter here, you will just learn how to put two words together. Okay, but because it's you're in the A1 level, so it's just not to make things too complicated. Because putting two words together we do very often. Now here's an example of a long word. I will just read it to you. It's die Grundstücksverkehrsgenehmigungszuständigkeitsübertragungsverordnung. Okay. Okay, so this is an extreme long word, but that can happen in the German language. So we just put several words together and then we create a new word. Let's have a look at the next slide. So here we are going to learn how we put two nouns together. Okay, so here it's a compound without changes. Zusammensetzung ohne Änderungen. Okay, so it often happens most of the time that we just put the two words together and nothing changes. So it's just here das Auto, which means the car, die Tür is the door, and it becomes die Autotür, which is the car door. Okay. Then the next one here is Fugenzeichen ES, häufiger anzutreffen, oft bei Zusammensetzungen mit Wörtern auf Tum, Ling, Ion, Tät, Heit, Kait, Schaft, Sicht und Ung. Those here are all female endings. So very often we use the linking letter ES or just S whenever the first noun of the compound word has these endings. Okay, like for example, die Gesundheit, it means the health. It has the ending Heit, and as you see here. So der Minister is the minister, so the new created word is der Gesundheitsminister. As you see, we have an S here, and it means health minister. So very important for you also to know, if you have two compound words like here and here that have two different genders, here we have a neutral noun and a female noun and a masculine noun. Now you have, whenever you create a new word, now you have to figure out, is the new created word, like here, Auto and Tür, is it about the door or is it about the car? Is it a car door or is it a door car, right? And then here it is about the door, it's a car door. Right? So you have to take the same article as the actual word here, which is the last word. It's always the last word, the word that it is about. We also call it Grundwort, or the root word of the new created word. So here the new created word has the same article as the root word. The root word here is Tür, the door. Exactly as here, it's health and minister. Is it about minister health or is it health minister? It is about the minister in the new created word. And minister is masculine, so the new created word needs to be masculine also because it's the root word of the compound word. Okay? And then the next one here, we have Fugenzeichen EN or just N. Meist die entsprechende Pluralform, which means whenever we use a linking letter en or n, it is most of the time it's the equivalent of the plural form. Like let's have a look here. It's die Straße and die Bahn. Die Straße means the street. Die Bahn is kind of the train. We also say die Bahn. Or it can be also kind of a way, for example, die Bahn. So die Straßenbahn means the tram. And here, as you see, Straßen, it means streets. It's the plural form of street. So it's like the streets train, for example. The streets, a kind of a way or path, for example. Okay, so it's die Straßenbahn. Here's the plural form. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen, and then it's exactly the same as the plural form of the first word, not the plural form of the root word, unless you want to talk about the plural of the compound word, of course. Okay. So here we have Fugenzeichen ER, exactly the same. It is mostly the equivalent plural form. So as you know, we have different ways of forming the plural in German. It can end with EN, it can end with ER, it can end with S, and so on and so forth. So here, for example, we have das Wort und das Buch, and it becomes das Wörterbuch, which means the dictionary or the word book, if you want to translate the words that you have in the compound word here. So it's das Wort und das Buch. The plural form is Wörter, which means words. Okay, so it's the plural form of the first word, and the second word stays the same. The root verb does not change. So it's das Wörterbuch here, which means the dictionary. Okay, this is one of the possibilities how we form a compound word, just for you to see different possibilities. So in this slide, it's about forming a verb together with a noun. So most of the time, we just take the stem of the verb, Verbstamm, and add it to the noun. This is most of the time. There are exceptions also. But let's look at this verb here. Suchen means to search or to look for, and die Maschine, the machine, and it becomes die Suchmaschine, which means the search engine. So as you see, we have just taken the stem of the verb and have added it to the noun. And the article or the gender of the noun is exactly the same as the noun of the compound word. Nothing changes here about the gender, because the verbs, of course, don't have a gender, and there's just one gender here, and it stays the same in the compound word. Here we have laufen plus die Schuhe. It becomes die Laufschuhe, which means the runner or running shoes, let's say, because laufen means to walk, to run, could be to walk. So we just take the root of the verb, which is lauf, and then we add the noun, Laufschuhe, the runners. Here another example, fahren, which means to drive or to ride. We add it to the noun Rad, which means the wheel, and then it becomes das Fahrrad, which means bicycle. Again, we have just taken the stem of the verb and have added it to the noun. Das Fahrrad, so it means the driving wheel, let's say, or the riding wheel, if you translate that. Okay. Then the next slide, it also happens quite often that we don't just take the stem of the verb, but we also add the linking letter E there to connect the verb together with the noun. Okay, so for example, nachschlagen means to look something up. So here we take the stem again, nachschlag, right? After taking away the en, we add the linking letter E, and then we add the noun. So it becomes das Nachschlagewerk, which means the reference work. Okay, we have the linking letter E here, Nachschlagewerk. Warten, for example, means to wait. Again, we have the stem plus the linking letter E. It becomes das Wartezimmer, which means the waiting room. Okay, to wait, and here the room, das Wartezimmer. Okay, but there's no fixed rule when we use the linking letter or when we don't do that. Okay, that's just the possibilities for you to see for the different compound words. In this slide, here we have adjectives together with nouns. Whenever we do this, whenever we add an adjective to a noun, the adjective does not change. It stays exactly the same. Okay, you don't have to decline it. So we have rot, which means red, and der Wein, which is the wine. It becomes der Rotwein, which is the red wine. Then we have alt, it means old, plus das Papier, which means paper, and it becomes das Altpapier, which is waste paper. Here we have the example of groß plus die Stadt, and then it becomes die Großstadt, which means the city or a big town or a big city. Okay, groß means big, die Stadt means city or town, and then die Großstadt. You can also say die große Stadt, which would mean the big city with an adjective, die große Stadt, but we can also just put it together and it becomes die Großstadt. Then here we have an adverb together with the noun. Using adverbs, this is not that common, it's rather with adjectives. But here let's have a look at some examples. Sofort means immediately, and then we have die Hilfe, which means help. We put it together and it becomes die Soforthilfe. Here you also don't change the adverb, it stays exactly the way it is, and the noun that you use also stays exactly the same. Again, you just have one article here or just one gender of those in those two words, so the gender stays exactly the same in the compound word. Okay, die Soforthilfe means immediate aid. Then we have the negation nicht, which means not or none, and here der Raucher means the smoker. The compound word here is der Nichtraucher, which means the non-smoker. We just put it together. Then links means left, die Kurve means the curve or turn, and here the compound word is die Linkskurve, which means the left turn, die Linkskurve. Okay, so nothing changes here with the adverbs. They stay exactly the way they are, and the nouns also. Okay, so that was the chapter, about the compound words in German. It would be great if you study that because it's very important. In German, we very often put words together and create new words. So please have a look at the different possibilities of how to put the compound words together. And then see you in the next chapter. Tschüss!